Title: Aristotle. The foundation of logic and scientific thought, the rules of logic we use today, the methods behind scientific thinking, even what we mean when we say reasoning. Most of it is far older than we think. About 2,300 years ago, one man did something radical. He asked a question that changed everything. How does the human mind think? That man was Aristotle. But let's be clear, Aristotle was not a philosopher lost in abstractions. He was an engineer of thought. Section 1. Who was Aristotle? Aristotle was born in 384 BCE. He studied under Plato, but he did not blindly follow his teacher. While Plato focused on ideals, Aristotle chose a more grounded path. He believed that to understand reality, we must first observe the world in front of us. For Aristotle, truth was not hidden in another realm. It was here, in nature, in experience, in observation. This shift became one of the earliest foundations of scientific thinking. Section 2. WHY. Logic matters. Before Aristotle, people thought, but they did not understand how thinking itself worked. Aristotle changed this. He turned thinking into a system. He developed what we now call formal logic, especially the structure known as, for example, all humans are mortal. Socrates is a human. Therefore, Socrates is mortal. This may seem simple, but this structure became the backbone of science. It teaches a critical rule. If your premises are flawed, your conclusion will be flawed as well. Courts, laboratories, debates, and everyday decisions still rely on this logic. Section 3. The birth of scientific method. Aristotle's greatest contribution was not logic alone. It was this principle: belief is not enough. Observation matters. He studied plants. He categorized animals. He analyzed nature systematically. Some of his conclusions were later proven incorrect, and that is acceptable. Because science is not about being right forever. It is about following the right method. Aristotle introduced a process: observation, comparison, classification, conclusion. Modern science still follows this structure today. He drew a clear line between knowing and guessing. Section 4. Why Aristotle still matters. Today, we talk about artificial intelligence. We explore space. We handle massive amounts of data. Yet, the core question remains unchanged. How do we reach correct conclusions? The answer still leads back to Aristotle. If logic is broken, intelligence cannot save us. Information cannot save us either. Flawed thinking always produces flawed results. Aristotle understood this more than 2,000 years ago. We are still learning the same lesson. Section 5. Closing. Aristotle left behind a simple but uncomfortable truth. Thinking is not instinct. It is discipline. Today, everyone has opinions. Very few people truly think. Without logic, information becomes noise. Without method, ideas collapse. That is why Aristotle is not just a philosopher. He is the foundation of logical and scientific reasoning. In the grand tapestry of human thought, few threads are as foundational and far-reaching as those woven by Aristotle. Born in 384 BCE in Stagira, a small town in northern Greece, his intellectual journey would shape the course of Western civilization for over 2 millennia. As a young man, he traveled to Athens to study at Plato's academy, where he remained for 20 years. First as a student and later as a teacher. After Plato's death, Aristotle embarked on a period of travel, during which he tutored the young Alexander the Great, a relationship that would profoundly influence both men and the world they inhabited. He eventually returned to Athens to establish his own school, the Lyceum, where his most influential works were conceived. At the heart of Aristotle's philosophy lies his revolutionary approach to logic, which he viewed as the essential tool, or organon, for all rational inquiry. He was the first to formalize a system of reasoning, most famously through a syllogism is a form of deductive argument where a conclusion is drawn from 2 given premises. For instance, the classic example: all men are mortal. Socrates is a man. Therefore, Socrates is mortal. This structured approach to reasoning provided a framework for determining the validity of an argument, separating logical necessity from mere opinion. He identified different types of propositions: universal, particular, affirmative, and negative, and explored the intricate relationships between them. This system of categorical logic dominated Western thought until the 19th century and remains a cornerstone of philosophical and mathematical reasoning. Beyond the abstract realm of logic, Aristotle was a meticulous observer of the natural world. His curiosity was boundless, leading him to undertake pioneering work in biology. On the island of Lesbos, he conducted extensive studies of marine life, dissecting and documenting over 500 species of animals. His works, such as History of Animals and Parts of Animals, are filled with detailed observations on the anatomy, behavior, and classification of living organisms. He was the first to distinguish between vertebrates and invertebrates, and his classification system, though rudimentary by modern standards, was a monumental first step toward a systematic understanding of life's diversity. He noted the intricate adaptations of creatures to their environments, from the chambered nautilus to the developing chick inside an egg, displaying a commitment to empirical evidence that was centuries ahead of its time. Aristotle's method of inquiry, combining empirical observation with logical, the groundwork for the scientific method. He championed the idea that knowledge begins with sensory experience, a concept known as From these specific observations, one could then induce general principles or universal laws. This dual approach of induction and deduction became the engine of scientific discovery, fueling the Renaissance, the scientific revolution, and the Enlightenment. Figures like Galileo, Newton, and Darwin, whether agreeing or disagreeing with his specific conclusions, were all operating within the intellectual framework he had constructed. Even today, in our age of advanced technology, Aristotle's influence persists in surprising ways. The logical structures he first articulated are fundamental to computer science and artificial intelligence. The binary logic of true and false that underpins all digital computing is a direct descendant of his formal system. AI algorithms that categorize data, make decisions, and recognize patterns are, in essence, performing sophisticated versions of the logical operations Aristotle described over 2,000 years ago. His quest to understand the mechanics of reason and the structure of reality continues in every line of code that seeks to simulate human thought. From the halls of the ancient Lyceum to the Silicon Valleys of the modern world, Aristotle's legacy endures. He taught us not just what to think, but how to think. He gave us the tools to dissect arguments, to observe the world with clarity, and to build knowledge on a foundation of reason and evidence. His intellectual spirit, a relentless pursuit of understanding through careful observation and rigorous logic, remains the bedrock of science, philosophy, and our ongoing quest to comprehend the universe and our place within it. Thank you for watching. If you found this exploration of Aristotle's mind fascinating, please like this video and subscribe for more journeys into the history of ideas. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell button to be notified of updates.